Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Baseball Banter. Today is the tender deadline, and we'll also discuss the most underrated player from every team. Let's banter. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Baseball Banter, episode 9. Today is the tender deadline. So we got a couple teams making some moves, some kind of shocking, some not surprising. Before we get into that, please call in 585-622-4931. Voicemails, get on your show or get on the show. And also, I'm going to bring on my co-host, Ben. And Ben, why don't you plug the Instagram this time?
All right, so go follow big.apple.baseball.banter. Instagram, we blowing up. Best posts around. Breaking news every day.
Yeah,
check it out.
We break the news after it's been broken by like the real guys, by like the Passons and the legit guys. But it's still fun. We give our opinions. Ben cries about DJ LeMahieu not winning MVP.
He really should have won.
Shit like that.
This isn't like Yankee Ben. This is just like Ben in general.
Sure. Okay. So I think we're gonna start with we usually like to start with new stuff, but we like to start with a lot of stuff that's very time relevant to the current time. So we're gonna start with the non-tenders that happened. So if you guys don't know, being non-tendered is like another way, just like being DFA'd or released for a team to tell you we don't want you. But what it actually means is it's basically they're saying, so how it, and Ben, you could help me out on this because I don't know the exact science, but how it works is you get called up to the majors and then you make the league minimum for a bit and then you're eligible for arbitration. So what arbitration means is like you have like a hearing based on how much money you deserve, but you can settle out of arbitration. Basically, what the tender deadline means is that the team will agree to pay you. Either you settle out of arbitration or you go to arbitration, which is like the worst case scenario. What it means to be non-tendered is that they don't even want to go to, negotiate. They just don't want you. It might be because you suck. It might be because they don't think, the financial, especially this year with, teams losing revenue. They don't want to spend that extra money. So there were actually some good players getting non-tendered. We had a few Mets. I think one Yankee has gotten non-tendered. The deadline already happened. We probably still will get. We may get some, more guys coming in that just didn't get announced. But I have a CBS article over here that I'll go through the whole league. But I guess we'll start with some of the big ones, and then we'll do our teams, and then kind of go over the rest of the team. So the three biggest players I think that got non-tendered are all left fielders. So you got Kyle Schwarber, Eddie Rosario, who I don't think was like non-tendered technically, but he was still not he's a free agent now, and Adam Duvall. So Kyle Schwarber I think is a viciously overrated player. He hits for good power.
Yes, very true.
But doesn't feel well.
Against
doesn't really
righties.
Hit for average. He's not a bad player, but I hate that they non-tendered him. You should at least try to trade him. You're gonna get something for him. I didn't understand that. Eddie Rosario didn't understand it either.
Oh my God,
he's a very good player. He just doesn't really get on.
He's like the opposite of Schwarber in the sense that he is very underrated. In my opinion.
For sure. And he plays decent left field. Doesn't really get on base like at all, but hits for solid average and gets extra base hits, which is nice. But and then Adam Duvall, who had a very good year last year. What this tells me and what scares me is I think they're calling up Drew Waters, who's like one of their top outfield prospects. So they're going to have like one of the
Christian
best.
Pache, yeah.
He's going to be up anyways. At least he should be.
He already is, but I mean, maybe he gets a starting role next year.
Bullshit service time manipulation. No, they should. I'm scared that their starting outfield is going to be Waters and left, Acuna in right, Pache in center. You still got Nick Markakis.
My God.
You could bring back Marcelo Ozuna as your DH, and that's a pretty scary team. They need to get a third
God.
baseman. Like I've talked about it. Austin Riley isn't bad, but if you want to be a legitimate, World Series contender, get a better third baseman. I'm scared they're going to get Chris Bryant, but that would be a perfect fit. I obviously don't want that to happen, but as a Mets fan, but those are kind of the big three who got non-tendered. Duvall, I think, led the National League in home runs last year, had a really solid year. Got hurt in the playoffs, unfortunately, but I didn't really think of him as this great player before this year, but he had a very good year. And I'm
2-3 home run games.
right. And that
That's
one
how
of
I
them was when
remember him.
they beat the Marlins like 28
29-9.
yeah. So that's
Never forget.
crazy. Yeah, that's nuts. But they could, and also you could still bring these guys back like on a cheaper deal. That happens. I don't really know any examples top of my head, but good players do get non-tendered, whether it's a down year, just financial. You think of some guys who got non-tendered last year. I think Blake Trinan, Kevin Gossman, Taijuan Walker, Cesar Hernandez, guys who are pretty solid players that got non-tendered. So it doesn't really mean you suck, but if you were so good,
Especially this year.
yeah. If you were, better, the team would probably hold on to you. But
The teams just don't want to spend how much you're worth.
exactly.
They can't afford you, basically.
Exactly. So the Mets non-tendered was just 4 guys. So Chase and Shreve, this is the only one I'm bummed about because I actually liked them last year, and now I don't think we have a single left-handed reliever. So need to bring back Justin Wilson. Need to get a left-handed
Wait, no
reliever. Yeah, like real relievers, not some
way.
AAA crap. So yeah, bring back Wilson. I didn't understand this at all, especially because you decided. Well, I'll get to who you kept. And then you also, who else did you non-tender? I'm looking at my notes. Ariel Hirado, another genius move by Brody to acquire quote depth. He was a disaster. Started like 1 game against the Orioles, was terrible, and I think we actually gave up like an actual prospect for him. So good job there, Brody. And then Paul Sewald, which hallelujah. There's like a lot of Mets fans talk about. There's like a group of Mets relievers that have been so bad for like the past couple of years, and they're finally all just gone. So Paul Sewald is kind of the last of them, and then other guys like Jacob Rame, who like got claimed by the Angels, Tyler Bashler, who got what did he get, like traded or claimed by the Pirates, and then there's other guys, Chris Flex and Drew Gagno, who are like out in like Asia or something, either Japan or Korea. So it's just this batch of garbage like young Mets relievers who are so bad. And I think Paul Sewald's the last one, and we're actually getting some legitimate relievers. Speaking of which, we signed a reliever. We'll get into that later. But yeah, I'm glad they're gone. And then Nick Tropiano, I'm not really familiar with him. So what I'm pissed about, I don't know why you non-tender Chase Shreve, but kept Robert Gesellman because, Robert Gesellman, he started a few games, but he's really a bullpen arm. And he was really bad. You could probably agree with me because how bad he was against the Yankees.
I remember that game.
He like walked everyone.
Yep.
And then this is the one that pissed me off. It's been since 2015 Steven Matz has been on this team, and I swear to God, this dude has gotten every chance in the world, and he's terrible. He's so bad. I don't want to. I was uploading this video, a tier list of Mets players, in tiers of very overrated, slightly overrated, properly rated, slightly underrated, very underrated. It didn't upload. I'm trying to re-upload it now. It'll probably go up before this, but I put Steven Matz in criminally overrated because people are always telling me how much potential he has, this is the year he puts it together. Yeah, this is the year he puts it together. I saw like Mets like articles is like, well, the pitch, obviously DeGrom and Matz aren't going anywhere. I'm like, why not? Can you do any better than Matz? Matz is bad. And like, just because he's the hometown kid and what was he, like a 2nd-round pick, that doesn't mean you have to keep him. He's terrible. He had like a 9 ERA last year. You tried to move into the
Oh my God.
He had an awful rotation with everyone got injured, and he still lost his rotation spot. And he tried to get moved up to the bullpen, was a disaster over there. Dude, he's getting paid $5.1 million to be a bum, basically, to be depth. Okay, this dude should be either non-tendered or optioned down in the minor leagues. I swear to God. If you're tendering him, you better trade his ass because some team's going to try to, find lightning in a bottle or something. Just like throw him in like a last minute package. I don't know. There were rumors that the Mets should trade him for Miguel Andujar last year.
That would actually be a kind of even trade.
Yeah, I'm not an Andujar
I'd
guy,
take that.
but I'm also definitely not a Mats guy. So yeah, no, I don't get the obsession of keeping this guy around. If you're gonna tender him a contract, you better trade him, and he better not have a spot in the rotation next year. I don't even want to see him out in the bullpen. And the thing is with the non-tender deadline too is that like this is the one opportunity you have like to get rid of a contract and not have to like eat salary. Like with the
Yes.
NFL, like you can cut guys on like training camp and stuff. There's like a day where a lot of cuts happen. You have to cut your roster down to 53. This is like the deadline where you can cut guys and not, lose money. So that's why players get non-tendered. So we're gonna
Mhm.
go through the list now. Every
Oh well.
team on the CBS article. I want to hear your opinion too, man. So, Diamondbacks didn't non-tender anyone, but they released Junior Guerra. I don't have anything to say about that.
Throws hard. So he might have a place in future bullpens, but
Yeah, most of these guys are gonna
maybe.
find a spot somewhere. But yeah. Back to Steven Matz. I was telling Ben about this. I need to read a Anthony DeComo tweet. He said, many of you asked about Steven Matz, the widespread industry expectations that he will be tendered. He is too vital a part of the Mets pitching depth.
Oh my
Am I
god.
the only one who like understands that this dude is garbage? He's terrible. But whatever.
Yeah.
He should be traded like now. Um, but we talked about Adam Duvall. It also says the Braves. Johan Camargo is kind of a non-tender candidate. He ended up getting tendered. Um, I would if he got non-tendered, I actually would like to bring him in if he would, if he'd be willing to play on the
Now
bench. Which,
that's a nice depth piece.
yeah, that's depth right there. And
Yeah.
here's the thing with Mets fans, and I could probably say most MLB fans. Once a guy gets released or non-tendered, oh, we got to go pick him up. Oh, we got to get this guy. Oh, this is our new priority. Like I saw guys talking about Eddie Rosario, dude. Eddie Rosario is a great player. He's not what we need. We don't need another corner left-handed corner outfielder. Like that's the last thing we
Mhm.
need. So yeah, some of these
That's
guys
what I
I'd be
was thinking about
willing.
too. I would love to see what's it Rosario or Schwarber on the Yankees, specifically Schwarber, but I don't think he would take any contract in which he rots on the bench.
Yeah, no, like I'd be willing to sign these guys if they want to, chill on the bench. But if these guys are gonna be starters, then no, we have a starting lineup. There's definitely room for improvement. Center field, especially defensively, needs to be
Put
desperately
Schwarber in
improved.
center.
No, the dude's basically a DH. Yeah, but we'll get to a center field candidate coming up. But Orioles didn't non-tender anyone, but they sort of released
No,
their
they did.
second best player. They released Pedro Severino for some reason. I mean no,
They
Reynaldo
also
Nunez. Reynaldo Nunez, my bad. They signed Pedro
they
Severino.
non-tendered Iglesias.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
Oh. I guess I
yeah, the Angels got him now.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a
Oh wait,
good
never
fit.
mind. It was a trade. It was a trade.
What's the trade?
I just assumed it.
Breaking
Uh,
news alert.
you heard it here first. It was
This video is
for
going to
the
go
minor
up in like
leaguers.
2 days.
Yeah. The minor league right-hander Garrett Stallings and Juan Pinto.
Okay, yeah, I've never heard of those.
Nope.
Yeah, Angels are going to try to, acquire some good pitching talent. Not going to work. But well, they got my man Mickey Callaway there. He turned Dylan Bundy
Woohoo!
around.
That's very true.
Now, dude's a pitching like guru. He just can't manage for shit. But
Hmm.
yeah, for some reason the Orioles released Reynaldo Nunez, who's like probably their best hitter, not named Trey Mancini, but obviously he was out with cancer treatment, which he's fully recovered from. So congrats to him. But
Woohoo!
yeah, Red Sox, no one's non-tender. The Cubs, we talked about Kyle Schwarber, but also Jose Martinez. First base, outfield, DH, was traded to
DH.
yeah, DH. I can't play the outfield. He was traded to Tampa. That was a trade where they got Randy Arozarena. When they DFA'd him earlier in the season, I'm like, man, this trade was a disaster because Cardinals got a pretty good pitching prospect, and what's his name?
Oh, I don't even know. Let's learn. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Here, wait. Rays Cardinals trade. His name is um, Matthew
Oh, is this
Libator.
Libator?
Libator, yeah.
Oh, it is Libator.
Okay, okay.
Libator.
But obviously they got Randy Arozarena, so it was all good. And then the Cubs also DFA'd Albert Almora, who finally they can stop telling me how good he is because I've had Cubs fans tell me he's good.
I thought he was going to be good.
Yeah, good glove, but
I
it's
was
not like
wrong.
there's a million of those in the league. White Sox, they Carlos Rondon, not familiar with him. Nomar Mazara, I thought he would be a player that would have a ton of potential. This is a guy the Yankees should actually get because he's a lefty power bat, dude. That dude would crush it to right field.
Oh, for
You've seen
real. I
that.
mean,
You've seen that, and he could.
504?
Yeah, you've seen that home run in Texas. So I think it was
Yeah.
yeah,
Longest one in 2019.
yep. And he'd be fine, chilling on the bench. So I don't see him having a starting opportunity in
Exactly.
those
I
places.
would
So
like that.
that would be a great fit with the Yankees. Reds
Mhm.
non-tendered center fielder Brian Goodwin, got him at the deadline from the Angels. Not great, but not terrible. He's just an average player.
Yeah.
Indians Tyler Naquin, kind of another just average player. Delano
Defense
DeShields,
first.
yeah, Delano DeShields Jr., another defensive center fielder. That trade has turned out to a disaster for both teams.
Yeah, it's
Because,
just hellfire
yeah,
everywhere.
the Rangers got like an inning of Corey Kluber, and then um, Indians got like a year of Delano or 60 games of Delano DeShields and a juiced up reliever. So Class A. And then Jeffrey Rodriguez, not familiar with him. Rockies, it says here to TBA, but they actually did non-tender David Dahl, and this would be a guy I'd be interested in. Again, if you'd be down to chill on the bench, he can play center field. It's just I would sign him to be a starting center fielder. I think he's didn't play great last year, but the dude cannot stay healthy. That's the issue with him. And he's another left-handed bat. I want to try to bring him to right-handed bat, but yeah, I like David Dahl, but yeah. Tigers, nobody. Astros, nobody, but they obviously released Roberto Osuna. Royals.
Bye bye.
Hold up. I'm gonna pull up an Instagram post by MLB Transactions Daily because this article might be a bit oh, trade just went down. Dodgers got
Oh, for
Corey Knebel from the Brewers for
Knable, yeah.
cash. Not much. That's
Or a
not
player
much, I
name
know,
be
but
named later.
oh, I just saw the Jose Iglesias trade, and yep, these are all recent news. All right, so the Royals also. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna go back to the Rockies because this website isn't fully up to date. They also released, defensive catcher Tony Walters. Can't hit a lick, but obviously decent defense. Oh wait, did we ever already cover the Angels? No,
Yes, we did.
no, we haven't
Wait.
yet. No, because
Oh,
I
I was
thought I
thinking
thought
of
we just did. Never
Brian
mind.
Goodwin. My
This is
bad.
all over the place. No, because Reds, but
Yeah.
Royals. So the Astros. Yeah, the Astros did. So the Royals released Michael Franco, who Mets fans know he was like Barry Bonds against the Mets when he was on the Phillies, and then was like Tim Tebow against the rest of the league.
Woo!
Hasan Guzman, Bubba Starling, bust. He was like a top prospect. Took him like 8 years to make it up. Bust. His career's probably over. And then Eric Mejia, not familiar with those guys. The Angels non-tendered Hansel Robles, Mr. Sky Pointer guy. If you guys caught our last episode, I talked about he's extremely overrated because he had like 1 good year or 2 good years with them, and then had an 11 ERA last year. But yeah, he's terrible.
Oh my
Hobie,
god.
Hobie Milliner, Justin Anderson, Matt Andrees. That name is kind of familiar.
Yeah. Nah, he's not that good.
What is he again?
He's a start. He kind of flips around between the rotation and
Oh,
bullpen.
okay, so pitcher, yeah. And then Kenyon Middleton, not familiar with him.
Yeah,
Dodgers,
he's a prospect.
yeah. Dodgers, nobody. Marlins, nobody. But they did, it's a bit of Marlins news. They designated Jose Arena after trading for Adam Simber for cash from the Indians. He's some, herky
Finally, he
jerky.
won't be hitting Acuna no more.
Oh
Get him
yeah.
out of there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Acuna probably loves this move, but yeah, Simber is kind of herky jerky sidearm submariner, throws really funky. I've always thought about this. You probably know about this. Do you play with anyone who throws who pitches submarine?
I've tried it before. I thought it was gonna be like you can't really throw hard whatsoever, but you can throw strikes like it. It's weird.
So is that how they always throw, or do they also throw normally and just pitch submarine?
Well, I mean, I throw normally, and occasionally I'll drop down to submarine
Yeah, but
for
I'm
like.
talking submarine specific pitchers, like
Oh, actually, wait, no, I did face one. I did face one last season. He was a nice lefty, and he walked me on 4 pitches.
oh, of course.
But he had a curve too. It wasn't just
Oh,
like
word.
he threw a curve from like what would that even be? Not 3/4, like 1/4.
Yeah. Dude,
One quarter.
next time you play again, you should either record your highlights and or just your film, and um we'll go over your stats and stuff and do a deep dive into Ben the
Oh,
baseball
I got
player.
some. I got my summer ball stats on me
Oh,
right
word.
now.
We should go over that sometime. Uh
Sure.
all right, so yeah, Brewers no one, Twins we talked about, Eddie Rosario. Mets we already went over that. Yankees, who did you guys not tender?
Jonathan Holder.
What is he
I'm
again?
extremely. He's a relief pitcher, and I'm so happy because he had a 6 ERA in 2019. I don't think he pitched in 2020. I fucking hate him. He's not fun to watch. Get him out of here.
Well, Gary Sanchez got a contract. I didn't
I'm
really
actually kind of.
understand. I didn't really understand non-tendering him. If you want to get rid of him, you might as well
Yeah,
try and trade him.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I'm so happy with this move because he still has trade value, and if
yeah,
he doesn't get traded, he has potential to break out and hit 30 home runs. We've seen that happen before.
yeah.
After his 2018, which was absolutely
It
atrocious,
was
he came
terrible. Yeah,
back and had an all-star 2019. So
yeah,
I think there is still fuel in Gary Sanchez's tank.
yeah.
Do I like him?
No.
No. I just think it's there though.
Yeah. Athletics, no one. Phillies, no one. Pirates, nobody. They released Trevor Williams, but that doesn't count. Cardinals, nobody. I'm looking back and forth because I'm looking at the article to go in the right order, and then I'm looking at this Instagram post just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Padres, Greg Garcia. I think was he an outfielder?
I think so.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe.
second base.
So
Who knows?
who cares, man?
Yeah.
Giants, nobody. Mariners, nobody. Rays, Edgar Garcia. Not
Now
familiar with
that's a name
him.
I don't think I've ever even heard of.
Yeah, me neither. Rangers, Danny Santana. I'm kind of surprised by this. He seemed like kind of a high potential player. Um, Not too much to say there, but he's non-tendered. Blue Jays, no one. Nationals, no one. And that's it. That's the tender
Woohoo!
deadline. Should we do a non-tender draft? No, I'm just kidding. We'd have some scrubs on the team. But
Yeah,
yeah.
this would be our little mini 5 rule draft.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rule 5. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I
Speaking
just
of
say
Rule
five
5, yeah,
rule?
you said 5 rule.
What the fuck?
Speaking of 5 rule, well, this doesn't really have to do with the 5 rule, but it has to relate to shitty prospects. What are your thoughts on the new wood bat league? Did you hear about that?
I heard a bit about it. Not too much though.
Yeah, I heard the Talking Baseball John Boy guys talking shit about it. So it's like a 60-game season where draft prospects are going to compete, which this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard because no, you're not going to get any good prospects because they're not going to raise their stock, especially pitchers aren't going to blow their arm playing at some meaningless 60-game league just to raise their draft stocks. This is only
Mm-hmm.
good for the shitty prospects. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
advertising, it was like the next stars of the MLB. They're like all the top prospects aren't going to be at this thing. What MLB should do is do like a scouting combine. How do you feel about that? Like what the NFL does, like
Ooh,
have
that'd be so much
yeah,
fun.
like how hard you can hit the ball, 40-yard dash, of course, a throw off, shit like that.
and like
That would be
flashy
cool.
stuff, like catchers trying to catch people stealing kind of competitions.
Yeah, just different drills and stuff. I'd love that. But
Yeah,
this wood bat league is just dumb because no one's gonna play in it except, and like ML, it's just lazy. Like either promote your minor leagues better, and promote your top prospects better, and promote college baseball better. That'll help people get more entertained by the draft because no one's gonna
that'll
know of
get
any of
younger
these.
people.
Yeah, no one's gonna know about these prospects because all these guys at the wood bat league are just scrubs trying to, no offense to these guys, they're trying hard too. They might, they might be a dime in the rough, but they're, not great prospects, just trying to raise their stock. So yeah, I don't understand it. Another, Manfred being an idiot. There was another report today that he's considering putting advertisements on jerseys like they do in the NBA. Yeah, then I
Whoa.
guess the Nike swoosh isn't enough. I know how much Yankee fans hate that.
I thought I hated it when I first heard about it, but I don't even notice it.
Yeah, same. I could care less after. At first, I was like, "Oh, that looks kind of weird." Now it's like, I don't care.
Now it looks normal.
Yeah, it
I
does.
don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah, Yankee fans were losing their shit at first. Like, "Oh, you're hurting such a traditional classic jersey." Like,
I
dude.
actually was like that in the beginning. Not that
Yeah,
bad, but I was like that,
yeah.
yeah.
What do you think Jacob Carpenter's thoughts were about it?
Uh, just like Machado, he does not want the swoosh.
No, no swoosh for our boy. So yeah, that's Manfred being Manfred. Not much to there. I guess we'll get into a little bit of Mets news. We signed Trevor May, reliever with the Twins. I made
Oh,
I made it
no.
what you wanted him.
Well, I just didn't want the Mets to get him.
Yeah. Um, so I made a reaction video yesterday. But I also, unlike my other reaction videos, I actually looked at some stats, went a bit more in depth. I can see this guy being our, seventh inning guy, and he could potentially be kind of a Seth Lugo role where you can use him for multiple innings. This guy actually used to be a starter.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he's linking up with his old pitching coach who he had his best years with, Jeremy Hefner. So I'm really excited about this move. You can kind of think of, now you should definitely still bring back Justin Wilson, but you can kind of think of like, you know, your go-to bullpen would be Diaz in the ninth, Lugo in the eighth, May in the seventh, or
Wow.
Lugo for two if the starter doesn't go far enough, and you also got Familia, Betances. I'd see a big bounce back coming from him. You got
Mm-hmm.
who else am I blanking on? You could still go sign. Please go sign Shane Green, someone like that. Bringing in another reliever. Now that
Nice
Chase and
lefty,
Shreve's
yep.
gone, yeah. Now that Chase and Shreve's wait, what did you say there?
I just said and never mind. I forgot what I said.
You get a also get definitely get another left-handed reliever. I'm not saying you have to go out there trade for Josh Hader, but although that would be nice, but uh get another left-handed reliever, maybe like a Jose Alvarez, someone like that, kind of a lower market, good left-handed reliever. Not these like left-hand special guys who are just doing everything. You can't pitch to a right-hand batter, but have to now. Yeah, get two or three, including Justin Wilson, three lefties, something like that. I think Justin Wilson will come back because he had decent success, but yeah, the bullpen's looking a lot better. Any Yankee news?
Oh yeah, that's 7, 8, 9 or 6, 7, 8, 9. That is playoff potential by far easily. You go DeGrom for 5, maybe
No,
6.
DeGrom for
You
seven
can throw a
usually.
shutout.
DeGrom for seven usually.
Well, you never want to overestimate.
So
You
DeGrom for
always want to
six.
take
On
one inning
average, he
out.
goes for six.
So DeGrom for 6, maybe he gives up 1 run.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a
This is like
lockdown
your ideal
bullpen.
opening day.
Yes, opening day or maybe wild card game or maybe
Right.
game 1 of NLDS, CS, or World Series.
Well, if it was
That's
wild card
hard.
game, the strategy would probably be DeGrom for seven, Lugo for two.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still, that's no matter what.
And then you
Your
got Diaz
opponent's
the
not
next
scoring
day.
more than 2
You
runs.
got Bauer, saying he might come. You got Thor. You got Stroman. You got Peterson. You got maybe you sign some other a depth reliever just in case. How it's very valuable to have starters that can also pitch out of the bullpen in the playoffs. I saw the Nationals do that.
Yes.
That's very valuable. So yeah, man, I'm hyped for the season. I gotta say, I know we haven't made our moves yet, but it's looking good.
It's looking
Another
very
thing,
good.
I'm gonna shit on Mets fans real quick. I love my fellow Mets fans, but what's with I don't get why Mets fans all of a sudden don't want JT Realmuto. Like, they're like, I saw pictures like
What?
Pete Alonso next to James McCann. It was like, ooh, Pete Alonso with his future teammate. I'm like, don't you want Realmuto? Like, James McCann's a great player. He's a backup op. Like, he's a plan B. Like, wouldn't you
Mhm.
want the best? Because, like I've said before, I'm going to get shit for this, but George Springer's not as good of a fit as you think he is, because the dude's you're going to have to give him like a 6-year contract, and the dude's got maybe 2 years left in center field. Mets fans love Brandon Nimmo to death for some reason. Well, I like him, but my tier list, I'll explain. He's kind of a one-trick pony. He walks and walks. But and I love Michael Conforto too. Hopefully he gets an extension soon. But if you want George Springer so bad, it looks like you're gonna have to move on from one of those guys, which I'd definitely rather move on from Nimmo. I'd love to get George Springer as long as you get Bauer and Realmuto, but then you don't want so much money tied into just 3 guys when you have to pay your own guys. So I'd avoid George Springer. My priority is still Bauer without a doubt, and then I'd go Realmuto. Bauer and McCann wouldn't be opposed to that either. But there's rumors people are thinking Springer and McCann. No, I want Bauer as if Bauer's the only free agent we get this whole offseason, that's cool. Because also the JT's not going back to the Phillies because their owner came out and said that they can't afford him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're taking him away from a division rival. It's it'd be a luxury to have. My only issue with signing JT is that his age, and if he requires a long contract, you got
Yes.
Francisco Alvarez in the farm, who looks like a stud catching prospect. I don't know if I think he's a top 5 catching prospect. I know Rutschman's 1, Bart is 2. I think the dude from the Diamondbacks is 3.
Oh, Varshaw.
Varshaw, yeah,
And then you probably got the maybe Keibert Ruiz or the Dodgers switch hitter. Forgot.
Yeah, I know. Will Smith isn't a prospect anymore, but yeah, Keibert Ruiz is probably up there. But Alvarez is right up there too.
Mhm.
So that's my only concern. But I was talking. Shout out to Mets fans only. We were talking about this on his YouTube video. JT's such a great athlete that I don't really worry about the decline.
Mhm.
Like,
I mean, I think the decline would be maybe taking a 5-tool player and morphing him into a 4-tool player, in the sense that his wheels, his speed on the base paths and behind the dish are just, very declined, and his stolen bases would go from like 15 a year to maybe 5 or 6.
right. Well, I'm not too worried about that because most catchers already are pretty slow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
So he'll just be
It's
like
just like
every other
one
catcher.
little thing.
That's what I was talking about with like his athleticism and stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, not too much Met. Just shitting on the fans because I'm such a nice guy. I'm just kidding. But I think we're gonna segue into the most underrated player from every team. We did the overrated. We were gonna do both last year. I lied in the intro. I said we were gonna do both, and then I realized let's go pretty in depth. Let's just do overrated, and we were pressed for time, and I had somewhere to be that day, so I couldn't do the underrated. But we got more time to have some fun. So we're gonna start with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think this is a pretty easy pick. It's Zach Gallen, the starting pitcher. I think he's their ace for the future. I love this guy. He was I had him on my fantasy team, which I traded him away because
Oh man.
some moron offered Fernando Tatis for him, so I took that in a heartbeat. Zach Allen's great, but it was Fernando Tatis, especially at the beginning of the year when he was ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
But Zach Gallen, the milkman, as his nickname is just a really good player. He got traded. It was a weird trade too with the Marlins. It was like a prospect for prospect trade. It
Those
was
never work out.
Jazz Chisholm, however you
Oh,
pronounce his
whoa.
name. Yeah,
Yeah, Jazz.
Yeah, him
Actually,
for
wait, no,
Zach
that might
Gallen.
work out because Jazz is looking like a young stud.
Yeah. I guess I said we're going to go into more detail, so I'll pull up some numbers here. Last year, Zach Gallen had page loading a 2.75 ERA in 72 innings pitched, 1.11 WHIP. So, and the dude is young; he's 25. So, I'm a big fan of this guy. Super underrated.
Same.
Who's your pick?
I don't think there's anyone that could fit the bill as perfectly as Zach Gallen or Gallen. See, I don't even know the correct pronunciation.
Gallen,
Just
yeah.
speaking. Yeah.
I think another guy would be potentially Nick Ahmed, just because you think of him as a glove guy. He's actually been hitting not horribly the past couple of years. Eduardo Escobar has always been a pretty underrated player too.
So underrated, but he had such a down year.
He had a rough year, but I think Zach Allen's pretty much the easy pick.
Yeah.
Atlanta Braves, I went with reliever Chris Martin. I think this guy's a really good player.
Ooh.
I'm gonna pull up his numbers here. I'm pretty sure he had an ERA like below 2. So he had an ERA
I believe 1.8.
at 1, just one flat.
No way.
Yeah, one flat and 18 innings pitched.
Oh my god.
Which isn't the biggest sample size in the world, but 60
That's still
game
incredible
seasons,
out the pen.
and a .61 WHIP. So that's less than one batter on base.
It's half a batter in it.
Yeah. So 19 games played, 18 innings pitched. So yeah, I think this dude's pretty underrated. I know he used to be on the Yankees and he wasn't very good, but I guess he's found it recently. This is like typical relievers who like find it, when they're
on
older.
a different team.
Exactly. Who's your pick?
I gotta go with Ian Anderson because people speak good heights about him. But my God, in 19 innings in the postseason last year, he gave up 2 runs, which gave him an ERA of .96.
And this is a rookie.
This is a rookie at age 22. Now, in the regular season, he took a bit of a step back from his postseason, and he only had an ERA of 1.95, which is still pretty good.
I was about to say, I don't remember him being bad in the regular season.
He just took a huge step back. So, yeah, this kid's a stud. I love watching him. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I don't. His first game was against the Yankees, and he held us to 1 hit through 6 innings.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, enough said.
Hey, at least you don't have to face him, like 4 times a year.
It's better than getting 1 hit.
Yeah. 1 hit on your debut. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Baltimore Orioles, I picked a young building block for them, Ryan Mountcastle. I think he's their future first baseman. Obviously, Chris Davis is awful. Dude had an 878 OPS last year and a 333 average, 366 on base. Really good numbers for a rookie. He only had 126 at bats, but still, I see this guy being a very good player in the future. They don't have much of a core there, like a young core, but they got, Adley Rutschman, they got Ryan Mountcastle, and, they're still going to be bad for a while, but hey, they could build something special over there,
Yeah. I got to go with Anthony Santander because this is his second consecutive season in which he's been hitting for a lot of pop and just hasn't really gotten any recognition for it. He's slugged 570. He's an outfielder, preferably left.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, he slugged 575 last year and 476 in 2019. So he's got pop, and he's there to play. Hits for decent average, doesn't walk too much, which is a bit of a concern, but Anthony Santander, remember that name. Yep. He and Trey Mancini going to be hitting a bunch of jacks.
Yeah. Trey Mancini, he'd definitely be the pick before, but I feel like he's starting to get a bit more recognition, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is why I picked Mountcastle. But moving on to Boston Red Sox, your favorite team. I went with Xander Bogaerts, shortstop.
Whoa, what? Really?
Which, yeah, I know he's been getting a bit more recognition, but he had a 364 on base percentage and 867 OPS, 300 average. last year. I've never really seen him in the conversation for a top 5 shortstop, and I think he's kind of around that territory. Now in the field, he's kind of useless. He's not good in the field at all.
He's a Glaber.
Yeah, I think he might be a bit better, but
Oh yeah, a teeny bit.
a little bit, but yeah, not much competition there. But I've it's kind of hard to find a underrated player on the Boston Red Sox just because they're a huge market and they get a lot of national attention. And the dude's only 28. I feel like he's been in the league for a long time now.
Oh yeah.
He made his debut in 2013, so he's been in the league for a little while now. And
long while.
Yeah, not a little while. Yeah, a long time. And he's a stud. Who's your pick?
I'm going with the Mookie Betts trade with Alex Verdugo. Yeah, because he didn't really get any attention whatsoever when he played for the Dodgers, which is kind of upsetting because in 2019 he had an 817 OPS. He took an even bigger step forward this year. He bat 308, 367 on base, 844 OPS. So I think when people initially saw the Betts trade, they were just stunned and just very upset. Red Sox fans were. But Doogie's been giving you some good bounce back,
Yeah, for sure.
So, what is it? I believe 3-4 years of Doogie and an 850 OPS is definitely worth 1 year of 9-something OPS for Betts. If you're not even in contention.
But they thought they were going to be able to extend him, so that's the tough part. Like a lot of Red Sox fans thought he would actually possibly come back, which I didn't really buy 100%, but I thought it wasn't impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Moving on to the White Sox, I went with the young reliever Garrett Crochet. Now he's pitched in a very small sample size. He's pitched in 6 innings, but has never given up a run with a .5 WHIP. Okay, this dude never pitched in the minor leagues. He got drafted and went straight to the major leagues. Or he might have been at the alternate site for a bit, but still, that's insane. And he throws 100.
Consistently. He I believe threw the fastest pitch. It might have been Stalmont last year. Either way, he was throwing 101, 102 with consistency. And he only had 6 innings with the slider.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of great players on the White Sox, but I feel like, Garrett Crochet isn't really talked about, so I went with him.
Mm-hmm. I'm going with Yohan Moncada. I think this is a pretty kind of boring pick because he is very underrated. I think he's kind of being talked about more recently, but he had a 915 OPS in 2019. So he's there, and I think he's just overshadowed by the amount of great young players on the White Sox. But he's going to be a centerpiece, or I should say corner piece, as he plays third.
Third base, yeah.
Yeah, for the White Sox in the next couple of years, and maybe potentially even more than that.
What trade did they get him from? They got him from Boston, right? Him and Michael Kopech for Chris Sale, right? Because they know how to trade. They got him. They got that trade. They got Jose Quintana for Eloy Jimenez. It's pretty clear who won that trade.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then they got Adam Eaton for Lucas Giolito, who was terrible his first year with the White Sox, but really turned it around and obviously pitched no-hitter last year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the Cubs. It's probably the most boring player in the league, but he's very good. Kyle Hendricks. He throws 88 tops, but he had a 2.88 ERA last year, has a career 3.12 ERA, and a career 110 WHIP, 1 WHIP this past year. He just gets results. He's boring, but he's a very good pitcher.
All right, I'm going to go into a bit more depth with our main man right here because Kyle Hendricks, if you may not know this, of course. I mean, he's the most underrated player in the league. You may not know this, but he won the ERA title, I believe, back in 2016 with a 2.13 ERA. Now, you might be a traditionalist and be like, oh, how many wins did he get? Well, he went 16-8.
Don't bring that win shit with me.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying for traditionalist beliefs
Yeah,
because
yeah.
in that year where he won the ERA title and had an outstanding campaign, he wasn't an all-star.
Oh shit.
He's never been an all-star. This is one of the best pitchers in the league over the last 5-6 years, and he's never been an all-star. That's all
Yeah,
I have to say.
like All Star doesn't mean everything, but that rotation was great back in their World Series run because he had
Mm-hmm.
Lester, him, you had good Arrieta, you had I forgot who else, but was Quintana with I don't even know was
I don't think so.
yeah moving on to the Cincinnati Reds. I picked my boy. I love watching this guy pitch because he's a little dude, but he throws gas. My man Sonny Gray. Love me some Sonny
Ah.
Gray. Sucks with the Yankees and it's good for other teams. Gotta love that.
Yeah,
But
yep.
yeah, I think because he bombed in a big market, people don't think of him as such a great player, but he had a below 3 ERA last year and no one talked about or 2019, no one talked about it. Had an ERA 3.70, not amazing, but he started out the year incredibly well. He's
Yeah,
only
he's just
5'10".
overshadowed by Bauer.
Yeah, he's only 5'10" and he throws gas. And
Mm-hmm.
his pitch has got some great movement there. And a funny story about him. I watched this behind the scenes thing when he was with the Yankees, and they were talking about how he what was it? Oh yeah, he signed up for the High School Musical, which is about freaking athlete wanting to do theater and shit. And I listened to a clip of him singing, and my God, stick to baseball, man. you know, but and he definitely did that well, and stud player.
Yep.
I think it came in second with the A's for Cy Young before getting traded.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't
Or
know that.
top 5, something like that. Yeah, he was a first-round pick back in 2011 from Vanderbilt. Vandy. So, yeah, Sonny Gray.
Mine is, I guess, kind of cheating because I went with the entire Reds bullpen comprised of Rizal Iglesias, Michael Lorenzen, Amir Garrett, and TJ Antone.
Isn't Michael Lorenzen going to be a starter now?
I guess so. Who knows? I kind of hope he doesn't because I don't want him to get injured and I want him to hit more.
Yeah, I do too.
So, but each and every one of those 4 I just listed are really, really good. And other than Lorenzen, who gets talked about because he's a two-way player, none of them really get talked about whatsoever for how they pitch.
Yeah, a lot
And
of
they're
them. Yeah,
good.
exactly. A lot of them get talked about for not because how they pitched. Michael Lorenzen
Just
gets talked about for being a two-way player.
Amir
Amir
Garrett
Garrett gets talked about
for gaming.
for being banned in the city of Pittsburgh.
That too.
Rizal Iglesias gets talked about for staring at the sky for a long time after he wins games. Nothing wrong with that. You can do your religious shit. We're not going to get into that. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that. But yeah, Amir Garrett's known for being a freaking beast, a freaking savage, and taking on the whole sad organization that the Pittsburgh Pirates
The drunken sailors.
Yep. Yeah, the Red Stockings versus the Drunken Sailors. But yeah, I like that pick. If you had to choose one person in that bullpen, who do you think is I'd say out of those 4 you mentioned TJ Antone, because that's just the guy I'm the least familiar with.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that pick. Moving on to you talked about I like the good segues here. You talked about Trevor Bauer on the Reds. We're gonna move to his former team, the Cleveland Indians, and his former teammate who got traded for this guy, Cal Quantrill. I want to read you this stat. Yeah, I traded Mike Clevenger trade. He had 31 strikeouts and 32 innings pitched. So that's, not amazing, but that's, that shows good signs that he actually has decent strikeout stuff. And in the postseason, he only pitched in, 0.1 innings, but didn't give up any runs. So, that's cool.
Got now.
But yeah, 2.25 ERA last year. So I think, this guy could be a bright future. Indians know what they're doing with their pitching. So, it sucks you lost Clevenger, but, Cal Quantrill. Why not?
Very good pick. Very good pick. I'm going to go with the Franimal or Zach Plesac, COVID boy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was thinking about that because a lot of people think of him as the douchebag who made that cringy video about like, guys, like, I know I like almost shut the season down, man, but like it's not a big deal, and like the media is like blown out of proportion, man. Like, come on. But and he can actually pitch like really
He can
well.
pitch very well.
Yeah, and it's got a dirty pickoff. Um,
One would say that it's almost artsy.
Lovely.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I would say Police Sack's more underrated than the Franimal.
Who talks about the Franimal ever? I've
Padres
never heard
fans,
anyone say anything about him in any post whatsoever.
maybe
He hits tanks.
he does. Anything else to say?
Not really.
All right, so you're probably gonna hate me for this pick because this guy isn't like you don't really think of it as an underrated player. But for Colorado Rockies, this guy's probably the most disrespected player in the league. Nolan Arenado. I hear bullshit about him
What
not
the
being
fuck?
the best third baseman in the league. Oh, he plays in Colorado. It doesn't count. That's why I picked him because I don't know how this guy isn't unanimously the best third baseman in the league. His numbers were a bit down last year, especially
Very
compared
down.
to his usual play. But he's never not won a Gold Glove. Second best, if not tied for the best defense with Matt Chapman at third base. Career 890 OPS. And I know, he gets help from playing in Colorado. Boo-hoo. But the dude's a stud. And I don't see enough people. I see a lot of people saying he's the best third baseman in the game, but, people are starting mentioning other guys. I'm like, no. It's Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, that is very
And
true.
also, there's not really many underrated players on the Rockies because there's either good ones that, people think are good, and then there's crap players, like their pitchers.
Speaking of their pitchers, I think German Marquez is criminally underrated because, pitching at course. He consistently has ERAs in the threes and is just very good. Throws super hard curve, super hard slider. He's hard to hit.
Yeah, I'd love to see him play somewhere, not
Course.
in Colorado. Yeah. Like I like him on
cool.
Marquez quite a bit. I like that pick. This dude's criminally underrated. I had him on my fantasy team for a bit. From the Tigers, Spencer Turnbull.
Ooh.
He's part of their, I wouldn't say, young rotation. The guy who gets all the attention in the rotation is Matt Boyd for some freaking reason. Even though he's awful.
Fucking Matt Boyd.
The dude had a 3.97 ERA last year, which I know isn't great, but especially in Detroit, super pitcher park. But the guy isn't bad, and he's had stretches of being very good before. So Spencer Turnbull. Not much to say there. There's not much to pick from the Tigers, but I don't know who are you gonna pick.
I'm gonna go with an oldie and Jonathan Scope, because he was very good last year, and I think a lot of people are starting to hate on him because he just really regressed after his first couple years. But he hit very solid last year, and yeah,
I like that pick.
thank you.
Going on the Astros, former Mets prospect Blake Taylor. Thanks for trading him for fucking Jake Marisnick. Brody with his depth. You gotta get a million defensive center fielders. But Blake Taylor last year in his debut rookie season had 2.18 ERA and a 1.59 ERA in the playoffs. Really good stuff. We sure could have fucking used him last year. Good left-handed reliever. Brody, this is kind of more valuable than a glove-only center fielder. But don't get me started on fucking Brody, man.
All right, so pick? For my pick, so I'm just trying to look for him so I can pull up the actual stats. But Christian Javier for the Astros.
Yeah,
he finished third in Rookie of the Year voting, but I hadn't even ever heard of him before it came out. So this man is very good. You could also say Framber Valdez for being just really good. But I really think that this kid is, going to do something as he goes on in his career.
Yeah, man.
Finally found him. He had he went he had a 2.89 ERA in the playoffs and a 3.48 ERA across 12 starts in the regular season.
Cool. So
Yeah.
for the Angels, I went with first baseman Jared Walsh. I think this guy's going to be kind of the guy to take over from Albert Pujols. Last year, he had a 971 OPS and
Ay.
how many? 99 at bats. So it's not a tiny sample size. It's not a huge sample size, but it's not like 5 at bats. So this guy's got a good future, and a 39th round pick, which I just saw right here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
2015 39th round pick. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
324 on base percentage, 293 average. For a 39th round pick, that's incredible. Yeah. So Jared Walsh, I've never heard anyone mention this guy. I was going through the Angels roster, and I was just going through guys. I'm like, damn, those are some good numbers, man. So yeah, Jared Walsh.
I'm gonna go with Anthony Rendon. I liked Jared Walsh, but I think he did get a bit of hype before he got called up, and as he was called up, he's still very underrated. But I'm gonna go with Rendon because every single year he is insane, and it continued in 2020 with a 915 OPS. No one considers him, to be that guy after he was signed. And he continues to be that guy. He out hit Nolan Arenado by a landslide in 2020.
Yeah.
And obviously 1 year doesn't necessarily decide the player. But I mean, if you want to say that Arenado is the greatest third baseman
The best
in the league by far, then you definitely need to,
I wouldn't say by
compare
far. I
offensive
just say he's
stats.
the best. But no, Rendon's definitely my number 2.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Who else?
Makes me
Who else
happy
would
to
I
hear.
pick?
I've never heard that.
Oh no, Rendon. I feel like is starting to get more attention because you saw him in the
He
World
got attention
Series.
in
You saw
2019
him in the World
afterwards.
Series, and you saw him sign his contract, and then again he kind of disappeared because he played for the
Yeah,
Angels. And
it's
it's Mike
horrible.
Trout and a bunch of random. It's been Mike Trout and a bunch of losers for a while, so you don't really catch on to that many players on the Angels. But
Yeah.
no, he's my number 2 third baseman. I keep hyping up the our player breakdown series. Our second video we ever recorded. We haven't uploaded yet, but it was our top 10 catchers. We just wanted to do more, stuff related to the time. Once the hot stove heats up and then cools down, once there's nothing to talk about, that's when we'll do it. So
Cool.
I know you're probably tired of me always mentioning, oh yeah, the player ranking series, but we'll get to it.
Just hold on.
Yeah.
They're coming.
So for the Dodgers, I went with catcher Will Smith. On that catcher video, we raved about this guy. I know you love him. The dude had a 980 OPS last year. Yeah, and a 401 on base percentage. Dude's a stud catcher, future top 5 catcher, in my opinion. If he's isn't already. The only issue with him is that he doesn't get enough time at catcher. I feel. They love rolling with Austin Barnes, but
Oh, yep.
But this dude's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to find an underrated player on the Dodgers. Like,
yeah,
it's the Dodgers, but
entire
still.
organization is magnified.
Yeah. Who do you go with?
But I'm going to go with Tony Gonsolin because he wasn't talked about at all during 2019, and he pitched very well in 2019.
Except the playoffs.
I'm talking 2019, not in 2020. We don't look at the playoffs right now.
Yeah, 20. We had a great 2020 too.
He had an even better 2020 with a 2.31 ERA.
Yeah.
Goodness. And he struck out more than 9 batters, just about had a K per 9 of about 9. Hitters have only hit 186 against him across his career. That's an amazing sign. And he looks like another future potential ace for the Dodgers, but he's going to be a number 3 starter at best for that team.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the Miami Marlins. I went with Garrett Cooper. It was between him and Corey Dickerson, but I think Corey Dickerson's a bit more well-known. So Garrett Cooper had an 853 OPS last year and a 353 on base. He's just a solid player. He's not anything great, first baseman. He's just solid. Yeah. And, guys who are solid don't really get talked about, 6 home runs. It was really bad in the playoffs, like really bad. 167 average, 286 on base, 675 OPS. But the dude's just a solid ball player. There's not much to say there. Just he's solid, and it makes him pretty underrated.
All right. What do you think of Sandy Alcantara?
I like him. I just don't think he's their future ace, but I don't think the plan is for him to be the future ace.
Do you think he's good?
Yes.
All right. Do you think he's been good?
Yeah.
All right. How about, probably around a 4.1 ERA, you'd say? So, above average, but not too good.
Yeah, something around, or I'd say no, lower than that.
Oh, well, you're right. He's had a 3 ERA in 2020, 2.8 ERA in 2019, and a 3.4 ERA in 2018.
Nice.
So he's been pitching above average.
Yeah, they got him in the Marcell Ozuna trade.
Yep. So this is somebody that the Marlins, if they don't really look like another playoff contending team, this is somebody that I think really should be on the market for them. And for any teams looking for a number two, or potentially a terrible number one, this is your guy. This is who you should be looking for.
I definitely like Sandy Alcantara a lot. Moving on to the Brewers, this was kind of hard because either everyone is on that team as well. I actually changed it last minute. Either everyone on that team sucks or they're good and they're recognized for being good. But Jed Jerko had a good year, and I guess it has to be my pick. There's not really anyone. I thought about Corbin Burns, but he got a decent amount of talk because of the good season he had. I thought about Brandon Woodruff, but he gets
he's also getting talked about.
Yeah, he started getting some more talk recently. So yeah, Jed Jerko, not much to say there. Utility guy. The kind of guy before this year I said shouldn't be a starter. Like the Brewers are kind of in trouble if they're relying on this guy to be, an everyday third baseman. But the dude had an 828 or 838 OPS last year. So just, another solid guy. Yeah.
I went with the left-handed relief pitcher Kyle Hendricks and Brent Suter. This man. Yeah. I love this man so much because he continues to pitch above average whilst only throwing 86, 85 on his fastball. But another good mention is probably Ryan Braun, who had his worst season in 2020.
No, he's not
he
underrated.
Had a 7.7. People hate him and think he's garbage and washed.
Yeah,
he hasn't had an OPS. He hasn't had an OPS under 770. Ever.
Dude's probably gonna retire. The dude, he's known because he won MVP, and then a whole scandal about him, taking steroids and stuff. Everyone hates him except Brewers fans. But I don't think Ryan Braun's underrated. I think he's okay.
You said it yourself. You think you said you agreed with me when I said that he was washed.
Yeah, at this point.
He had a 769 OPS at Miller Park.
Yeah, compared to his old stats, though. That's, when you think washed, that's, not as good as what it used to be.
Well, when I think washed, I think not good whatsoever, not just compared to what they used to be.
Yeah, that is a good point, but I don't think he's underrated. This guy you might not think is underrated. I think this guy is decently known, but for all the wrong reasons. This guy in the Minnesota Twins, center fielder Byron Buxton. Now, he was a pretty hyped up prospect at first, but, people just know him as a speed guy. But he had a 844 OPS last year. Like, he's been hitting well recently.
Oh, yeah.
And now he can't get on base for shit. 267 on base.
Oh my
God.
God.
When he gets on base, he steals $1 million. Well, actually, he didn't really steal. He only stole 2 bases last year. He only threw 2. Yeah, exactly. Even if you're not stealing bases, you're still putting that pressure on the pitcher. It's like this. It's like in football. Yeah, it's like
And
in
the middle infielders.
Yeah, that too. It's like in football when you have like a pass rusher, even if they're not getting sacks, if they're still pressuring the quarterback into making very bad throws, that's what it's like having speed on the base path.
Yes.
You're always just
Yes, that's a
keeping.
great analogy.
Thanks, man. It's like
No
the
problem.
pitcher can't stop looking your way because you're like, oh, is he going to take off now? You keep having to throw pickoff moves that you know makes a pitcher get
Eventually, one's
tired.
going to go to the backstop or whatever.
Backstop, exactly. You like try to be slick with the pickoff move. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Byron Buxton's a very good player. And I remember watching when the Mets played the Twins a couple years, he was hurt. That outfield was a disaster without him because he covers so much ground. And Eddie
Oh,
Rosario
yeah.
and Max Kepler, especially Max Kepler, is a very good outfielder. But him playing center fielder and then Marwin Gonzalez and right, he's kind of the captain of that outfield. And the
Mm-hmm.
Twins suck without Byron Buxton. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like a direct correlation, but it seems like when he's hurt, which to be fair is kind of often, um, they don't seem to play that great. So yeah, Byron Buxton, good player, man.
Yeah, I'm actually going with somebody you referenced in Eddie Rosario
Oh, he
because
just
he's
got
been
non-tendered.
yeah, he just got non-tendered, and he's been no, I wouldn't say insane, but he's been very, very solid for the last 4 campaigns,
Yeah,
and it just doesn't make any sense to me because he had a down year in 2020, and when I say that, I mean a 792 OPS and 476 slugging, so he still was a good hitter. So he probably wouldn't have gotten as paid as much as maybe after his 2019 or 18.
he
So they
also
could have
has the
stolen
same.
him
Yeah, he also has the same
practically.
issue with uh, Byron Buxton. His on base percentage is really bad. But another guy I
They
thought
hit for
about
pop.
another yeah exactly another guy I thought about was Max Kepler. I think he's a very good player, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick with Byron Buxton. That whole outfield is a very good outfield. They definitely
Mm-hmm.
disappointed a little. The whole team kind of disappointed, in my opinion. They didn't really have the same kind of Bomba squad they had. Like they had guys like Luis Reyes didn't really perform to expectations. I'm pretty sure
I
Jose.
thought he was going to be a stud
Yeah,
because
he's a good
there were so
average
many
hitter.
advanced
Yeah,
metrics about his contact abilities and all that.
yeah. He's a typical average hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Jorge Polanco. Did he have a down year?
Uh, I think he had a down year that, and also he's kind of like gotten attention for doing roids.
Yeah,
So
he has. But they got Royce Lewis in the farm. I think they're pretty
woohoo.
they're pretty good at short. So
Yeah.
moving on to the New York Yankees, again, it's really tough to find someone underrated here, but I think Zach Britton's a very underrated reliever. I don't think I think he's one of the most useful relievers in baseball. Like think about this.
Thank you.
Let's say you're in a a 1 out, 2 guys on jam. You bring in Zach Britton, you're getting that ground ball double play. Like that's very valuable. The he's got like when I think about the sinker in baseball, you got like 2 sinkers. You got Zach Britton sinker, which is like begging for contact and then just gets hit on the ground. And then you got like Blake Trinan sinkers, which are like the nastiest pitches you've ever seen. But
Oh, whoa,
he
actually,
has
wait a minute. I've never seen a fastball swung on in the dirt until I saw Zach Britton. So he does get swings and misses. He gets
he
quite a
does.
few.
He's just known to be a contact
Ground
pitcher.
ball.
His
Yeah.
ground ball rate is insane. Yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
Zach Britton, I think he's a top 10 reliever in the game. I don't think a lot of people think of him that way
Thank
outside of
you.
Yankee fans. With Chapman out, he filled that role very well. So yeah,
Yes. Thank you. Well,
who's the player on your team?
I actually switched my pick. I originally put Glaber down, but then I was like, Ben,
What?
what are you? Yeah, exactly. Because he had the 3.
Underrated?
Yeah, see, I was like, wait a minute, Ben. Let's think about this. Are you fucking stupid? So I switched it to Adam Ottavino because
He sucked last
uh
year though.
other than that outing, he had
Where
a good
against
like
Toronto,
2
right?
yeah
Against Buffalo.
against Buffalo. Oh my
Yeah.
god. He had a 2.6 ERA outside of that. And he had a
Oh,
1
really?
point
Okay.
yeah. And he had a
Oh, okay.
1.9 ERA in 2019.
Yeah, he was great. And the dude has pitched in his career at Coors and Yankee Stadium. Like, if you can
And
pitch in
he's
those 2
still
places and still
insane.
a stud, exactly. So, um, I don't know why the hell the Rockies didn't pay this guy. It's like you finally got a good reliever. Keep him. But that's the Colorado Rockies for you.
Yep.
Anything else to say?
No, other than anyone who talks down on him because apparently he had bad seasons or something. Yeah, I saw in an article produced by MLB.com that Adam Ottavino was like their biggest free agent coming after this season, and he had not pitched to expectations and was really underperforming and was not worth the contract. When this man was, I would say, maybe the third, maybe fourth best reliever in the MLB last year in 2019, and was incredibly solid other than that outing last year. So he is insane, but he's not considered to be insane.
Yeah, that's what underrated means, really.
Yeah, he is the definition of underrated.
All right, moving on to my team. I can't wait to talk about this guy. My man, Dominic Smith. I was high on this guy.
Ooh.
So 2018 came up, top prospect, sucked. 2019, he had some pitch hit at bats, and I'm like, damn, this dude's good. So then going into, and I was like, damn, we got to get this guy more playing time. And then he got hurt, like broke his foot. He became kind of a meme that year because I don't know if you remember the Michael Conforto walk-off. Dom Smith came out of the dugout on his like little scooter. Um, so and like last year, I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna get this guy playing time because we got Alonso at first, no DH. You tried playing him left field, wasn't great out there. Obviously, having a first baseman playing the outfield. So a lot of talks came up with him being traded. I was like, let's hold on to him. A lot of I saw a lot of rumors about like trying to dump contracts like Jed Lowry or something with Dom Smith. I'm like, no. Like the dude's got like Lowry had like one more year after that, so that made no sense. But it's the welfare Wilpons we're dealing with. They'll dump salary wherever they can get it. But Dom Smith. So going into 2020, I've talked about this before on like my Mets tier list and stuff. Everyone was talking about Yoenis Cespedes. He's gonna be the DH, best player ever. 50 home runs. I'm like, no. This dude can barely walk. Dom Smith, make him the DH because he'll be here after this year. And he's 25, and he's going to be part of your future, and he's going to be good. Trust me. Cespedes opts out. Dom Smith becomes a full-time player, and 993 OPS later. He's a top 10 first baseman, in my opinion, now.
Oh, I
Or
agree
up
with
there.
that.
316 average, 377 on base percentage. I
Oh my
think he
God.
led the league in doubles, or the National League at least in doubles. So
I know
last
Cesar
year,
led in the AL.
he had 21 doubles last year.
Nice.
So, in 177 at bats. So it seemed there were times where he was so hot, it seemed like he couldn't get out. Like there were times of the season he was like that. So I think
Hmm.
no one really recognizes this guy because you think first baseman for the Mets, you think Pete Alonso, but they got, I guess you could call it a platoon. They're a platoon of everyday players because I think they're going to alternate between DH and first base. If you have to, you'll put Dom Smith out in the outfield. But I think the Mets are finally trying to, understand that
Improve the defense
defense
out there.
matters. Exactly. Sandy Alderson's talked about that a lot recently. So yeah, Dominic Smith. I'm excited to hear your pick for the Mets.
Edwin
No,
Diaz.
no, 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 no,
I
no.
wanted to say that you stole Dom Smith. Come on.
Okay, the tier list that it's probably going to go up before this. I actually call him slightly overrated because he was so bad in 2019, and then he started to he learned how to pitch again or something. So Mets fans started calling him elite. I'm like, dude, this guy is not elite. Like he's been elite, recently, but the dude, was like he couldn't get me out in 2019. So no,
Hmm.
I don't think
Hmm.
Edwin Diaz is underrated.
Hmm.
I'm kidding.
You don't want to call him an elite pitcher, huh? All right.
If he
So,
if he can do it again next year, then yeah, the dude's elite. But
well, let's go to the root of the problem, which is 2019. His expected ERA
oh
was
no,
around
oh dude, stop,
3.7.
dude, stop.
And
He was so.
before
Don't get
I
me with all these
continue,
stupid advanced stats. The dude was horrible. He couldn't go an appearance without giving up a home run. It seemed like.
yes, but I mean, he pitched in a way that shouldn't have allowed for that, in the terms of he got very unlucky. Now, before you're like, oh, fuck unlucky, that's stupid. Well, I
It
mean, he had a
is.
1.96 in 2018, a
Yeah, he
3
was he was a stud. That's why I was excited
he
about
was a
getting him.
3.27 in 2017 and a 2.79 in 2016.
Yeah, and like a
So
6
while
point something in 2019. But
5.59.
still,
Yeah,
seemed
that's still pretty
it
bad.
seemed higher than that. I don't know why it seemed like it should have been higher than that.
I do feel that. But he also did strike out 99 batters across 58 innings in 2019, proving that, I mean, it seems like he got pretty unlucky in the sense that he can strike everybody out, but he still allows the most runs of basically any reliever.
He was a
Those
three.
two don't.
He was a 3 outcome hitter as a pitcher last year. He either struck out a guy, walked a guy, or gave up a home run.
That's actually a really good thing to say, except for the fact
But he was
that
a power.
someone
He was a power hitter as a home. He was a guy who hit a lot of home runs as a pitcher, so he gave
he
up a
walked
lot of home
20
runs.
he walked 22 across 58 innings, which is about like 3 per 9 innings almost. That's not that terrible for a reliever.
Yeah, not horrible, but not great. But so, are you keeping Edwin Diaz as your pick?
I mean, I'm just trying to diversify the list, you know?
Hey,
That's,
I was thinking, either Jeff McNeil, I'd put him up there. I think. Uh, who else?
I think Edwin Diaz is elite. That's
I think he
I'm
will
not
be
even
again. I think he will be
what
again,
what
but
what
no, I think he'll go back to his elite form. He's got to prove it again to
he
me.
just did.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. You got to redeem yourself a little more than that, a little more than a 60-game season after blowing a few games last year.
He's
So
done it 3 times.
yeah, I know, but I'm talking. I need consistency. If I'm giving up fucking Jared Kelnick for this guy and taking on Cano's contract, I need some consistency.
All right.
Is that too much to ask for? Is that too much to ask for? God damn it! Oh well, we
Nah.
really got the banter in now. Moving on.
Yeah.
Oakland Athletics. I'm going with another relief pitcher. It seems like all these guys are relievers because relievers are, naturally get underrated. If I told you this guy had a .42 ERA and a .94, WHIP, you'd probably think, oh yeah, Liam Hendricks. No, Jake Diekman.
Ooh, lefty 3/4.
Picked this dude up on my fantasy squad.
Oh, nice pick.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he had like a 0. I think he gave up a run on one of the last games of the season, which that must have hurt. But another 30th round pick. I'm on
Jesus.
MLB.com getting these stats. So but yeah, Jake Diekman was a stud last year. I think he's still with the team. If he wasn't, I'd love the Mets to bring him in. But he had a funny interview with CC Sabathia and what's his name? Cam Maben and Matt Chapman on CC's podcast before he retired. And he's talking about how he originally signed with the Royals before getting traded to Oakland. He's like, I'm pretty much knew I was getting traded to sign, getting traded when I signed. He was like, yeah, like the weekend of the trade deadline, I made sure to, pack a lot of stuff. So yeah, it was a pretty funny interview if y'all want to check it out. But yeah, Jake Diekman, stud pitcher.
All right. Everyone in Oakland is pretty overrated in my opinion. I'm gonna go with Mark Hanna.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's on my fantasy squad too.
Oh my God, you getting all the steals.
Yeah, man.
What, you had Corbin Burns, if I remember correctly? No, I had Corbin Burns. That's who I had.
You could also, the nice thing about Mark Hanna is that you were able to play him in outfield and first base, so that versatility was nice.
Yeah, I only want him at first base if we're talking just like in game or DH, because he's not really much of a outfielder.
Not awful,
very nice,
but not great.
Oh, he's pretty bad.
Really?
He's pretty bad.
Oh,
but he's just an insane hitter and always has been an insane hitter. Or I shouldn't say that, but in recent memory.
Yeah.
And so, doesn't really get any recognition whatsoever.
He had a 246 average, but had a 387 on base percentage. That's real good. And
you love them walks.
Yeah, and 2019, I believe he had a very good year. Yeah, 913 OPS in 2019.
Woo-hoo. And he was good in 2018 as well.
Yeah. He's been up since 15, so he's been with them for a little while. I think he's a free agent next year coming up. I'm not quite sure, but
that sounds right.
Going to the Phillies. I don't want to get too into this guy because we all knew he was going to be good, but Zach Wheeler. I'm not mad the Mets didn't re-sign him because I thought he just needed to change scenery. But why do you have to go to the Phillies for like 6 years or something? But like I thought he was gonna try to get a 1-year deal somewhere, show that he's a freaking stud, and then get like a stupid contract. But he's got the stupid contract because he had so much potential. So he got that Patrick Corbin kind of contract, like a 6-year, over $100 million contract. That dude's just a really good pitcher. He very good mix of pitches. His strikeouts kind of went down a bit. He's kind of pitching more to contact, but he's getting those results now. And he actually had consistency last year, so that hurt to see some in division former Mets like him and Travis d'Arnaud, who like we all knew had so much potential, just needed a slight change of scenery, just ball out. So yeah, I had to go with Zach Wheeler.
All right, I went with Rhys Hoskins because I saw some hate about Rhys Hoskins saying he wasn't really that good for whatever reason. This kid is a stud. I mean, he's had an 861 OPS since 2017, the year he was called up, and has been hitting home runs and has been walking.
Yeah, he walks a ton.
Yes,
Funny thing about Rhys Hoskins, his season got cut short last year because he had to get Tommy John on his non-throwing arm from a sliding injury. Yeah. Never heard of that before, but
so yeah, he's very good. His style his approach at the plate is one of the favorites at the Kazel industry. We just love that kind of thing. High walk, high home run.
Can't stand that shit.
Up on my player list.
I like that if you're not striking out a ton, but that usually involves striking out a lot. Moving on to the Pittsburgh.
I will admit they're not as fun to watch, but that's how you get results.
Yeah, you need a good mix of both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You need your what are they, Jonathan Arouses here and there.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh Pirates, the whole team sucks, so there's not really much to pick. I went with Adam Frazier just because he's a really good defender and he can be okay, but he's not that good. Who else am I supposed to pick? Josh Bell and Cole Tucker, most overrated players in the league. Freaking what's his name? The left fielder who was really good his rookie year.
Gregory Polanco?
No. Brian Reynolds. Picked him
up
on my fantasy squad, flopped. He was terrible last year.
I picked him.
Yeah, I drafted him. I didn't even pick. Yeah, I drafted him pretty high too. Which I'm not too mad. You make mistakes, but I had it good in the waiver department, so I'm not too bummed about that. But Adam Frazier. Like, there's not really much. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Who the hell cares, man?
I just picked Colin Moran because why the fuck not?
Moving on.
Respects to Key Brian Hayes.
Yeah, he'll be good.
He'll be good.
Yeah. Sorry, Pirates fans, but not much to say. You got a few years. Padres,
hey, remember Tyler Glasnow?
Oh yeah, remember Garrett Cole?
Remember Charlie Morton?
Hey, remember Austin Meadows?
Austin Barnes. Hey, remember Andrew McCutcheon?
Oh yeah, remember who else? Oh, fuck.
It's a nice little game.
I know. I'm trying to think of former.
There's one more
Pirates.
I can think of.
Well, the other guys were like bad with the Pirates, and then went to. Oh yeah, remember Shane Baz? I know he's a prospect, but you gave him up as a player to be named later in that trade. Shane Baz.
Oh no.
David Freese, but he's not really known as a Pirate.
Hey, remember Starling Marte?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Remember? Fuck. Russell Martin, I guess. I don't know.
Remember Rob Barajas?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say who's the dude from that Foolish Baseball video? All
You
right.
have
So
been out pirated.
if we had any Pirates fans listening, we probably didn't. But if we get any Pirates fans in the
Because
future
they
and they
don't
listen to this,
exist.
that's true too. But they're gonna hate us even more. Um,
Yeah.
so moving on to the Padres, I went with another reliever on my fantasy squad who had like a 0 ERA for most of the year. Another kind of herky jerky lefty, kind of like Jake Diekman, Drew Pomeranz. Um,
Mm.
He's kind of had a pretty up and down career. He's actually his second stint with the Padres. He's been a starter like with the Red Sox, Giants, sucked out like that. Got traded to the Brewers, became a reliever and pitched really well. Signed a good contract with the Padres, and had a 1.45 ERA last year and a 1.02 WHIP. So it's a super
Wow.
solid reliever. Yeah, he was
Uh,
a little bit injured, had an only 18.2 innings, but very good pitcher.
mhm.
This is like all relievers, but they're typically
Yeah.
underrated. So
Uh, I picked three people here.
oh,
Trent Grisham, Dinelson Lamet, or this is my favorite of the three, Zach Davies.
yeah, I think
This
he's
is
the
like,
most underrated. Another
yeah, he's
former Brewer
Kyle
going to the
Hendricks
Padres.
2.0.
Yeah, yeah, he's a soft tosser.
Off-brand Kyle Hendricks. There we go.
Yes, another soft tosser.
But still really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he top five Cy Young last year, I think.
Who Zach Davies?
Yeah, he was up there. I think he was like top 6 or 7.
No way.
Yeah, I actually think he did. He was. Here, you can check
No
on
way.
that while I
I will.
mention the next player. Moving on to the San Francisco Giants, I went with Alex Dickerson, left fielder. The dude had a 947 OPS last year. He's not a bad player. He just struggles a lot with injuries, but had a very good year last year. I think he had like a 4 home run game or something. 260, 298 average, 371 on base, 947 OPS. He's not really a superstar. Maybe you try and trade him to get something back just because I've expressed my feelings on the Giants. I think they should try and rebuild slightly. The dude's a good player, though, and he doesn't really get to talk. Ben, you get those results yet?
I did. I think you were thinking of Kyle Hendricks, who got like seventh or eighth.
I would have
Zach
sworn
Davies.
Zach Davies was up there.
Yeah, he wasn't, unfortunately.
Never
Big
mind.
sad.
Who's the most underrated player on the Giants, in your opinion?
Let me find it. Let me find it. Here we go. Kevin Gossman, but I mean he's gotten attention since he signed the qualifying offer, so that kind of went loot. And also Tyler Rogers.
Oh, the sidearm submariner. I
Not
can't.
just any sidearm.
He's like an underhand sidearmer.
Yep. And now, before you start screaming, he was not only really good in 2019, but he was solid again in 2020 after a really rough debut. So,
What? Oh, the first game against the Dodgers. Yeah, I remember that game.
and then after that, he was incredible again. So, Tyler Rogers is
Yeah,
the future
brother
of the Giants organization.
brother of Taylor Rogers from the Twins.
Who?
Taylor Rogers.
He sounds like a fucking stupid reliever. He's
Yeah,
not Tyler
dude
Rogers.
doesn't throw underhand submarine.
Yeah, get out of here.
All right, most underrated player from the Mariners. The Mariners are so bad that I had to pick a guy who only has had one good year, but and didn't even play last year. But Tom Murphy, I've never really heard anyone mention him, but he had an 858 OPS in 2019. He had what injury did he have last year? He had a left
I think it
foot,
was groin.
no left foot metatarsal fracture. We should play like a
I hate
game
when those happen.
pronouncing injuries. But the dude's been a scrub ever since. But he seems like he could be their catcher for a few years. They got rid of Austin Nola, but Tom Murphy was playing pretty well. Man, they've had players who just disappeared recently, like Mitch Haniger. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened to him. I think he had like
that was the groin.
no, I think he had like a testicular issue. I don't know exactly what, but it seems like he's
Yeah, the
finally
groin
back.
stuff.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly. I thought about Mitch Haniger just because he had such a good 2018.
Mhm.
But Yeah, I went with Tom Murphy because there's literally no one else.
Yeah. I went with my next favorite soft tossing lefty, Margot Gonzalez. Now I believe we're at 4 most underrated players that average with fastballs under 90 miles an hour and are just like don't strike out anybody.
Right.
I did not include Zach Greinke, so I can't really get it up to 5.
Ephus God, yeah.
Mr. Ephus, Mr. 52 mile an hour Ephus.
Yeah, and we put Mad Bum as overrated, if you guys caught our last vid.
Oh, yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Jared Weaver was my next pick for the Angels. So I just really like my nice soft tossing, no
tossing.
strikeout guys.
Do you throw lefty or?
I'm a righty.
Okay, so I'm like, man, you must have like a personal connection to these
Yeah, because
lefties.
I'm only throwing, 81, 82 at best.
Hey, it's not fucking better than I can. All right, next we got St. Louis Cardinals shortstop Paul DeYoung. This guy hasn't really ever put it together, but I think he has the tools to be a very good player. He's absolutely annihilated the Mets before. He hits for a ton of power, a very good amount of power, and the dude has a great glove. Last
One
year
of
he
the
had
best.
671 OPS, but he's just a player with a ton of potential.
Yeah. Didn't he have a really good offensive 2019?
I believe so. I'm pretty sure he was an all-star, but he was like the only representative for the team because they were really bad at that one point. So 2019 had 233 average, not great. 313 on base, not great.
It's a good walk rate.
762 OPS, but
All right, that's solid.
2017 career high 857. He's a very streaky player, but he just has a ton of potential, and that glove is just so good. I'm gonna miss him and Colton Wong turning those nasty double plays.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm gonna miss that. But yeah, Paul DeYoung. How about you?
I'm going with Brad Miller.
Yeah,
just because.
I was thinking about him too. He had a breakout year.
No, actually, not quite. He was great in 2019 as well, despite not. I mean, back-to-back years with not huge sample sizes. 2019, he hit for a lot of pop, but didn't necessarily hit for. Didn't
He's
walk.
more of a bench guy too.
Yeah, he was more of a off the bench, like pinch hit home run kind of guy.
I gotta check.
This
Brad
year,
Miller on my fantasy squad. I gotta check.
Oh yeah.
I keep referencing my fantasy squad. I should probably go over it.
We got to look at this. I think you've compiled a good 300 players at this point.
My fantasy. Well, it was my first year doing fantasy baseball, but it was James McCann, Jake Cronenworth, Ozzie Albies, Alec Baum, Fernando Tatis, Dom Smith, Will Myers, Mark Canna, DJ LeMahieu, Nick Madrigal, Yasmani Grandal, Jesse Winker, Robinson Cano, Seth Lugo, Brad Keller, Liam Hendricks, John Gant, Diego Castillo, Drew Pomerantz, Dustin May, Jake Diekman, Jacob deGrom, Jeremy Jeffers, Sonny Gray, and Giovanni Gallegos. And I finished in third. So we're going to do some fantasy baseball related stuff. And speaking of fantasy football too, I just I barely beat my opponent. I beat him by decimals. So
no way.
Yeah.
That's
here, let me pull up the score. Yeah. I actually have someone who was on my fantasy team would be another great pick for the Cardinals, John Gant. 2.4 ERA last year.
Yeah.
Their bullpen in general is very underrated. Yeah, so
I
won.
2019, they were insane.
Yeah, Gallegos, some of those guys. When he's healthy, Hicks, the dude who throws like 105.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks. Sinkers too, not just fastballs.
Yeah, sinkers, exactly. I've seen him throw Yadier Molina like a great defensive catcher can't even catch him because of how much movement they have. Yeah, so I won 114.40 to 114.04.
Wow.
Yeah,
oh my god.
I was just watching the game because we had a few I had 2 players. He had one who was in the game today. So I'm like, please, come on, don't blow this. So but yeah, back to baseball. I think that's enough for Cardinals talk. We're gonna
Wait, can I go over my lineup?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Thank you. We got JT Realmuto, Luke Voigt, Max Muncy, Gio Urshela, Tim Anderson, Anderson Simmons, Travis d'Arnaud, Charlie Blackmon, Franmil Reyes, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Mike Yastrzemski, Brandon Nimmo, Cesar Hernandez, Giancarlo Stanton, Dominic Smith, Kyle Lewis, Garrett Cole, Jack Flaherty, Nick Anderson, Kyle Hendricks, Gianni Gallego, Seth Lugo, Corbin Burns, and
Giovanni.
Jake Odorizzi. Huh?
Who was your first round pick?
My first round pick was Garrett Cole.
Okay, my first round pick was Jacob deGrom, so
Ooh.
team bias right there, but we all know
I
who's
was
better.
also playing with a very, there weren't too many educated people.
Oh yeah, I
Baseball-educated
was in a
people.
strangers league. That's why I don't have any friends.
Yeah, your team didn't really necessarily have a lot of star power compared to mine.
Yeah,
But you
I kind of
finished.
I picked the guys who like were getting hot.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, you definitely had a much harder draft, I presume, and just league in general.
Yeah. There are a couple guys I had that I traded. Zach Gallen, Xander Bogaerts, or I think that was the only trade I made. Those two for Fernando Tatis. So yeah. Moving on to Tampa Bay Rays, I went with a guy on my team, Diego Castillo. He was shut down in the playoffs. Pretty much anyone on the Rays. I wanted to go with your boy Mike Brasso, but I think he's kind of I think he's kind of a legend now. But
Shut the fuck up.
Diego Castillo had a 1.66 ERA last year, and a 1.64 ERA in the playoffs. He's a really good reliever. Super fun to watch. A big dude who throws some nasty stuff. So yeah, Diego Castillo.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yep.
I'm going with Yanni Chirinos because he's had a sub 3.9 ERA every single year since his debut in 2018. Very solid.
All right, so moving on to the Texas Rangers. This dude had a very limited sample size, but I'm gonna get on this dude's hype train so I can.
Oh my God! Please say it! Please say it!
Sam Huff, the catcher.
Fuck.
So in 31 at bats, he had a 1.136 OPS as a catcher, as a rookie catcher, and hit 355, 394 on base. So I'm getting on this dude's hype before anyone. I've never really heard anyone mention him. I think he's gotten attention because he hit a home run in the Futures game, which I was watching the recap. Dude, the Futures game is freaking awesome, man.
Oh, I love
I gotta
the Futures
watch
game.
it next year. I've never watched it live, but I gotta.
Mm-hmm.
Futures game is rad, man. But
yeah.
All right, you got all excited for me not. You thought I was gonna mention someone, but I didn't. Who's your pick?
Well, this man, he is a legend in the hearts of everyone that is a baseball fan. He had a very, very solid OPS of 806 last year and hit 5 home runs in 61 at-bats, which is a very tiny sample size, but that's like a good home runs per at-bat ratio, or at-bats per home run. Big Daddy Dietz is the man of the hour.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that whole team had like an OPS under 800, so I was confused for a sec. That whole team played like shit last year.
He is like, credited for like one good half of 2019 and then just falling off and never hitting well again.
Yeah.
He's been average or above average since 2015 and just can't find consistent playing time. And it is unacceptable.
Can't find consistently in general. Consistency in general, yeah.
He's not a bad player.
Yeah. He's just not much of a fielder and kind of only hits well against righties.
But that's okay because you face righties 75% of the time. Yeah. Just platoon the man. Yep. Just keep him on your team.
Yeah, dude hits tanks and his pimp game is like no others. Going on to the Blue Jays, I'm picking Rowdy Tellez. Dude had an 886 OPS last year and had a 2,000 OPS in the playoffs.
Wow.
And a 1,000 average. So he only had one at-bat in the playoffs, but who cares?
He singled.
Yep. Or maybe he did. I don't know. But dude broke out this year. He's going to be DH / he's kind of, him and Vladdy are going to do kind of what the Mets are doing with Dom Smith and Pete Alonso, kind of DH first base. Just a really good player, and I don't see him mentioned as kind of that young core. He's obviously not part of the big three, but dude's only 25 years old, so I think he could be a part of their future.
Definitely. I'm going with Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He's like
Nice.
the cool brother
Oh yeah,
compared to
fuck his older brother.
fuck you.
Yeah, cheater. Oh, and yeah, what is he like? He did that super racist shit at Yu Darvish.
What?
Remember?
Oh, he was that guy?
Yeah, the squinting guy. Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, that guy.
Oh my
Dude,
god, Yuli.
yeah, I don't know if there's a team that you could hate more than the fucking Astros.
Yeah. God damn it, Yuli. So Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has been great for the last 3 years, and he should be a part of the big three. He is better than all of them except for Bo Bichette,
So
hands down,
far.
so far. And I think he's going to be better than all of them, other than Bo. Hot takes with Ben.
Fair.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
All right, so Washington Nationals, I'm going with Trey Turner. This dude isn't talked about as a top 5 shortstop. I think he might actually be. He had a 982 OPS last year and 12 home runs, and this is coming from a speed guy. Think about you get all that, and then when he gets on base, the dude, like I talked about, it builds pressure. It puts pressure on the pitcher and the catcher and the middle infielders. Speed, blows everything up. It ruins everything in a way. It bursts pipes. So, having that element while being a phenomenal hitter, and he was very good before, but he completely broke out, and I'm pretty sure he's played center field in the past too. So he could play that too. You obviously, you're going to keep him that shortstop, but the dude is probably a top 5 shortstop in the game, and people don't talk to him about him that way.
Mm-hmm. Dang, I agree very much with that, because the power, and I believe he walked a good amount too last year. It all just bursted out for him. Great pick. I'm gonna go to another bullpen arm. Here's Tanner Rainey, because he's
a hard thrower.
Very hard
soft
thrower.
Yeah, he's not a soft thrower.
Yeah, he's not like Ben's usual picks.
Taylor
He
Rogers.
struck out. Yeah, huge.
We gotta get you a Taylor Rogers jersey. No, Tyler.
Yes,
sorry,
please.
Tyler Rogers, not Taylor.
Please.
Tyler Rogers. We gotta pick like a random ass player that we have to like. Oh, I got it. So your guy is Tyler Rogers. My guy is Mike Brasso.
Get it right.
My guy is Mike Brasso.
I'm recording.
Yeah, Ben hangs up. That would be perfect.
Yeah. I hate that pick so much.
Yeah. That's my guy, dude.
Stop it. Stop it.
Guy.
Maybe make the playoffs next year.
The Mets? We will.
Oh, yeah, you probably will.
Yeah, we won't get bounced in the freaking first round.
Yeah, I think you guys are NLCS bound.
Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, if we have the offseason that we're anticipating, you never know, man.
Definitely.
Hopefully the Dodgers get that hangover and the Braves, hope they just, fall apart.
Hopefully the Yankees stay off the injured list.
Yeah, I thought the Braves were kind of overrated last year. I thought they had some kind of big roster holes. Like, I didn't think their rotation was anything good. I thought they kind of had big holes at third and short. Dansby Swanson kind of proved himself. He's not amazing, but
he wasn't good in the second half.
Yeah. He's never been that good in the second half, to be honest. But
he's never been that good.
I'm not the biggest, I'm not the biggest fan of those two guys. Like, if you want to have like an absolute insane team, I'd recommend trying to improve at those two positions. But but dude, I'm nervous about the free agency shortstop bonanza that's gonna happen next offseason. Like,
that's gonna be
realistically,
crazy.
Some of those guys are gonna get re-signed. I think Correa and Seager are getting re-signed. But other than that, I think Lindor is definitely hitting the market. I think Story's going to hit the market.
Mm-hmm.
If he does, dude, the Mets need to sign him. Like, I love Lindor too,
or the
but
Yankees.
Yeah, dude, he's got just like I'd take either of them, but just Story's going to be cheaper and he's a right-hand hitter. Well, Lindor's a switch hitter, so that'd be very helpful too. But we need to get either of them. Except
whichever one you guys don't get, we'll take.
Even if Jimenez like balls out like crazy, which could happen, it's still Trevor Story, man. We We should trade for both Nolan and Trevor. Get that?
Bam.
Have you seen that play where the ball if Nolan bobbles it, Story catches it, and then throws to first?
Oh, I saw one just like that actually with Brock Holt and Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, you gotta have that. You gotta keep that chemistry. I'm like, I want both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine all that core shit is actually real, and then they suck.
I swear.
I doubt it. They hit great on the road though, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's what you need to know.
But yeah, and also Trevor's Story, I don't think he's that underrated. Because he plays in Colorado. Like I think this dude has top 15 potential. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
he's kind of overshadowed by Arenado, in my opinion.
yeah, in a way, dude, his speed is also nuts,
Yes.
and his glove
He's
is nuts
5
too.
tool.
Yeah, he's a 5-tool player. So, anything else to say about our list?
Not really, other than Tyler Rogers is obviously the most underrated.
Yeah, and Mike Brasso is better than Mike Trout. Best Mike in
That is
baseball.
very actually I have to agree with you there. I hate to say it, but you're right.
All right, man. I think that's all we got for you guys this week. Thanks for tuning in. You can check us out on Instagram where we break stories an hour late. Big.apple.baseball.banter. That should be our bio. We break stories an hour late.
Yeah.
Like new Mets and Yankees pod.
we should just do we break stories, comma,
An
but
hour or late. Dot an hour late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag insider information. And then also call in. I know I keep talking about call in, but it makes the show really fun. Numbers on the screen: 585-266-353. Fuck, I don't know. It's on the screen.
Yeah, read it.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's
illiterate
not on my
shits.
screen. It's not on my screen, but yeah, it'll be in there. I gotta remember it. I feel like I say it wrong sometimes, but whatever. We gotta get some good callers. But please subscribe. That's the most important. If you subscribe, comment that you subscribe. We'll give you a shout out, which I know means nothing, because no one's gonna.
No, wait, no, we aren't supposed to tell him that.
Oh yeah. I know you're gonna get famous.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, this was Elias and Ben here on Big Apple Baseball Banter. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Let's go Mets, LFGM.
Let's go Yankees, LGY.
Yeah, and you guys need a chant. Peace out, guys.